What's cracking? What's cracking? What's cracking? Happy weekend. It's me, Mike. I'm here with my guy.
My name is Eddie Pickering, and I am very excited to be here right now.
And this is Sporting Convos with Eddie and Mike. And bros, a lot is happening with the Commanders right now. We're going to talk about the Terry McLaurin saga. Just seems to keep getting worse by the day. It feels like something stupid happened today that probably has no effect on anything, but we still got to talk about it.
Yeah.
The rookies, they're reporting the training camp. We'll talk about that for a little bit. Maybe the Redskins, they signed the GOAT. Who did they sign? You know, but we'll talk about him in a few. CBS, they put out a top 25 list today. I have a thing against NFL lists in general, but the list they put out is just ridiculous. Major League Soccer, MLS, they're coming out with a new substitution rule that we're going to discuss.
We're just trying to diversify our bonds. That's all that is. You know what I
I'll
mean?
say this:
Make Wu-Tang proud.
out of all the fan shows, I must say that, and I'm not saying it just because it's my show, but I'm just saying, no other fan show that I could think of in the DC area is talking more than Commanders on their episode or on their shows or whatever. So if you want more than Commanders, you come to EMP.
We attempt to be versatile, but like only in the good way. Like whatever way you're thinking of is probably not the way. So, but we're like the Mandalorian. Like this is the way. So, Eddie and Mike coming at you. Bruh, bruh, bruh.
But with all that said, we will start with the Commanders first, like we do on every episode, because
Of
they do
course.
kind of carry us. So it is what it is. But Terry McLaurin, since last week, he had the press conference. We talked, I think we touched on that last week. And like just seemed like day by day, just multiple reports are coming out on what's going on with him. First, you got the Pats, the Patriots. They're interested in trading for him. Um, then you got the stupid social media post that the Commanders posted earlier today. It was 4 wedding pictures, and none of those pictures was Terry McLaurin. And people were like, "Oh, he got married. Why you didn't post him?" Well, come to find out, the team had made a post separate for him and Ben Sinnott earlier in the year, and that's why they probably weren't included in the Twitter post from earlier or the X post from earlier today. So it's just a lot of drama going on. People saying that he wants more than 1 year, others saying that he's old, he only deserves 1 year, and I just feel like I said at the end of the episode of Commanders Classified, I'm like, bro, maybe this is par for the course, because I remember, and well, I don't remember. I was only 2 when this happened, but during the 1991 season, Mark Ripken was hitting in the camp um, with a contract dispute, and eventually the team settled it or whatever. And Washington went on to have their best season in franchise history, top 5 easily NFL season ever. And I'm just like, bro, maybe it's one of those things where um, it just needs to happen in order for us to succeed. But what's your whole thoughts on the current what's going on with our guy Terry? Pay that man
Well,
his money, McLaurin.
yeah. I mean, I am all aboard chugga chugga choo choo, all aboard the pay the Terry McLaurin train, 100%. But hear me out here. First of all, continuing on the other train of it's refreshing ownership management, everything top to bottom being kind of done the right way, which you saw the instant results from last year. We haven't really heard about it aside from Terry McLaurin doing an interview, which also I just find that so weird. I don't Has that ever happened before where someone's doing a what do you call that? Like I'm doing a commercial. I'm filming a commercial. Whatever. He's doing the Easter Motors commercial, and he
Mm-hmm.
gets interviewed about it. And I thought he was professional and shared his thoughts, but like didn't cross any lines, so to speak. But aside from that, we haven't really heard anything. Again, all aboard the pay the Terry McLaurin train, but I don't necessarily consider him a top 10 receiver in the NFL right now. I do consider him an overachiever. I do consider him someone who has played with a plethora of quarterbacks who were serviceable. Ugh, I can't speak. Who were serviceable, but let's be honest. It wasn't getting the job done. Otherwise, those guys would have been still throwing to him, or at least have been throwing to him for a little bit longer. Kirk Cousins may be excluded. Anywho, I think this is one of those things where it's the bad side of the good that comes with that, with what I just talked about, with management, with ownership. They're being prudent. Those of you go back in time, look up Dana Carvey, George Bush, prudent, right? It's a good bit. Anyway, I think that's what they're doing. I think he's gonna get paid. He does have a year left, but I think maybe there's some language on his end. Maybe they want to pay him, but again, obviously there's some kind of disagreement. I think he's gonna get paid. I do, but it does kind of suck because you do want to see someone like him rewarded because of the ripple effect it could have, where people are like, well, hey man, like if they're not paying Terry, like, you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like in some ways you got to be careful, but this isn't the old regime. So maybe like being careful is um like a microcosm of like, hey, like I probably didn't use that word right. Either way, maybe they don't have to be as careful as the old regime might have had to have been, but they still got to be careful. Okay, so that's it. I want to stop because I'm rambling now. So
So let me throw like I know you just say you want to stop because you're rambling, but I still got a question to ask you.
sure.
Let's say the worst happens and that he enters week one holding out. How much do you think it'll, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think him holding out until the season will affect Jaden Daniels in the offense?
So I in a perfect world, I'd love to believe that he doesn't do that because again, he's got 1 year left. So I mean, it's Terry. So I'm trying to be as respectful as possible because I do feel like he's owed that much. But like, this is pro sports, bro. Like, I want you to think of it like this, right? If I mean, he had a great year last year, I thought, because finally he's got a good quarterback, a consistent quarterback, one that actually adds another factor to the game, which in some ways benefits Terry as far as like meaning, Jaden's running capabilities, extending the play, etc. But what if Terry had a bad year last year? I mean, maybe he's not asking for an extension, but I'm saying like they're still supposed to honor that contract, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a slippery slope, and I'm not trying to like all of a sudden be on the team because I'm almost always pro player, especially in the NFL, where they find ways to take money away from you as far as like uniform, not being like top to bottom like for game days, all those kind of things. They find ways not to pay you, whereas like Major League Baseball, it's guaranteed. Anywho, I want Terry paid, but I understand where the team's coming from because he's not a top 10 guy and he's overachieved his whole career. So you do want to reward that. You want these younger guys to see what happens when you stay true, you work hard, you maintain professionalism, stay out of trouble and all that, that there is a possibility to really hit it big. So you want to kind of like maintain that status, but at the same time, like it's a business. So I'm still always going to be pay Terry, but like, let's be careful now because one of the things that we've done, even with the end of Snyder's regime, credit to maybe a little bit him, but mostly Rivera, like they started to kind of make better decisions, at least contractually. The players might not have worked out, but we weren't wasting a ridiculous amount of draft picks. We weren't overspending for guys who were over the hill. We kind of got to the corner, and then this team turned it and went down several blocks, and really set up shop. So it's a slippery slope. Hey Terry,
Yeah.
I get it.
So I don't. Of course, you want him on the team, but I just personally, I don't think that he's the drop off would be significant. Like if we lost Jayden Daniels, you know what I'm saying? Like I just don't think it'll be that much of a drop off. Um, the fans might hate it. Well, not might. The fans will hate it.
Mhm.
Like y'all going crazy right now with the Terry love, man. I get it. Like my profile picture is Terry McLaurin Moss and the Cowboy. I think it's bland, but I digress on that part. Uh, but at the same time, like um, I would pay it just to get the drama over with or whatever. But and I know I can get away with doing that because of who the player is that I'm paying. It's not like I can do this for Deron Payne or somebody like that. And y'all know how much I do like Deron Payne. I can't justify overpaying him, but I can definitely justify overpaying McLaurin. He's productive. He's a model player, model citizen off the field. If he's asking for a 3-year deal, I would probably give him the damn 3-year deal. But at the same time, I can't hate on Peters for being hesitant because if you look, he just went through this with Debo and Ayuk, and if you look, both of them have, let's say, they haven't lived up to their contracts yet, and you can understand his being pessimistic about extending McLaurin.
Yeah, totally agree.
So, like I said, it's something that I feel like will get done soon. I personally don't think it'll last until week 1 of the season. I think it'll get done before the first preseason game on August, whatever, 11th, 12th, I don't remember. But yeah, I don't think we need to worry too much about McLaurin. And something else I don't think we need to worry too much about, bro, the pass rush. I was already optimistic heading into the season that they'll be able to do at least match what they did last year and manufacture a pass rush. But now they went out and they signed a specialist. And the fact that we didn't lead off with this, even though it's a big name, just goes to show you how not only how important McLaurin is, but just how much in the twilight of the career, of his career, this player is. But we signed Von Miller. Von Miller, future Hall of Famer, pass rush specialist, former Super Bowl MVP. Um, he's good, man. Like I don't know, I know he's not going to be the Von Miller of the prime, but he got 6 sacks in like 11 games last year. 3 of them came after week 11. PFF is saying that he still has an elite win rate, elite get off time, and if he plays 25 snaps a game and it happens to be on 3rd and long 4 or 5 times, I'm with it. I don't think we could have gotten any more better at a pass rush as a pass rush specialist. I know some of y'all wanted Zadarius Smith. I know some of y'all wanted Davian Clowney. I just feel like with Peter's background, having drafted or been a part of drafting Von Miller, and seriously chasing after a Super Bowl, he probably wants to go with people that he's comfortable with. And it's not like Von Miller is a bad plan A or B or C or whatever. Have him on your team. I consider it a W.
Yeah, so I want, we're not far off in age, and I want you and the handful of listeners I have to go back in time or to current juncture where in the movies on TV you got the person that's going to jump and you got the person trying to talk them down. Um that was kind of Mike and I when this signing initially happened, because I my worry was that we were doing the Hainsworth thing or the Deion Sanders, whenever we drafted Chris Samuels and LeVar Arrington, and then we just started signing guys or whatever. So that was a little bit my worry. But I want you to go back to what I said. I'm the guy, I'm the jumper, whatever. Mike's going to talk me down. Imagine if you could just cut that episode or that movie just down to like seconds where like it's like, hey, get down. Like, oh, okay. And then like even more so, it's like, oh, you know what? Like, I why am I even out of the house, let alone about to climb up here and jump? Because I thought about it the minute we talked, and it's like you're right. For those of you who don't know, like Mike and I were talking, like pretty much Von Miller is going to kind of fill the Fowler role, but then let's go a step further. Let's go what this represents, right? You've got a guy like Von Miller. Yeah, he could maybe stay with Buffalo. He could look to sign maybe with the Ravens or, I don't know, like, because I don't know rosters, like that would affect in some ways what, a player of his caliber would do. But anyway, the point is, he's not looking to sign with scrubs. He's looking to sign with contenders because he's trying to, fill up some stats, maybe get another ring, and not that his play and what he's done so far hasn't warranted it, but he's trying to add to his Hall of Fame career, his Hall of Fame stats, his um, Arsenal trophy room. I don't know. Anyway, I love it, and what I keep thinking the more I'm talking is this is going to be kind of a sack by committee. So you got Dorrance Armstrong on the other side. You got guys like Johnny Newton, Ken Law, who was just signed, Dietrich Wise. There's going to be a number of guys who are going to be rotated in. You got Luvu as well, filling in from a pass rush standpoint. I'm sure there will be some DB and safety blitzes as well. I kind of liken this as pairing what the names I just mentioned as well as Von Miller with what we did in the draft and free agency. We bring in a Jonathan Jones and a Will Harris. We draft a Trey Amos, who I think is probably going to start opposite of Marshawn Lattimore. And I think this is going to kind of be a chicken and egg thing where our pass rush, our defensive line has improved against the run and potentially the pass. But I think our DBs will hopefully, fingers crossed, same with our D line, actually, fingers crossed too, that this area, this unit will improve, this area, this unit will improve, and both will result in improvement for each other. In other words, we've got big bodies to maybe play the run better. We're going to, again, probably get some sack production out of a number of the guys I just listed, but then equally, some of those sacks might come from coverages. And then in coverage, there might be some interceptions based
Mm-hmm.
on the pass rush, the penetration from the D line and those big bodies doing their job. So that's kind of the way I view this being built. And again, the fact that you talked me off the ledge so quickly, I mean, you didn't do it, but you did do it. And then I started thinking about it, and it's also that veteran presence. You don't think a guy
Mm-hmm.
like Von Miller is not going to be like, hey, man, like, they're playing you like this. If you just kind of do this, you might have a little more success, or at the very least, be able to kind of make a chess move where this move you did this play is going to lead to be able to do that move, that play, and then have success there. Right. And obviously Von Miller, the success he's had and the fact that dude, I swear to God, between his knee and like maybe like his upper ankle, it's like rubber because he used to get around the corner and he would bend and he would get there with the quickest quarterbacks, and that dude is huge. Maybe not so big as Miles Garrett, but close and can move a lot better. So if he's able to stay healthy and even do a little bit of that, and again provide some of that veteran presence, oh my god, I really like. I mean, obviously we're going for it, but I don't know. It was cool. And then, in the image that you sent me, I don't know if it was ESPN or Bleacher Report. It was a copy and paste job for sure. But somebody put him in a 24 jersey. I
It
also
was him.
he did it.
It was He put
Oh,
when
okay. I
he
didn't.
was the one that announced his own signing. He posted a
Mike,
picture Instagram on.
Mike,
He posted the
a
picture.
I am not a noob, quote unquote, but I also don't internet as well as you and some of these younger folks do. So,
No, it's good.
anywho, that would be cool. I don't think he's going to wear 24, but
He
I've always
might.
been big as like a jersey guy. And then like people who, like when I think 47, obviously Chris Cooley, right? Maybe my man Tyrone Wheatley back at Oakland, used to play for Michigan as well, but that was the number Von Miller wore, I believe, for Buffalo. I don't know if
I
he's going
think
to wear that for us. So
he was 40 in Buffalo.
he was 40 in Buffalo. Maybe he was 47 in for the Rams then, but I'm pretty sure he wore 47 at some point. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
43. I don't know. Either way, I'm digging like some of the abstract numbers these guys might wear, so that could be cool. I don't know if I'll cop that jersey or not, but I love it, man. Like more so what it represents. Like we got guys wanting to come here now, and I don't know who else we might sign. I don't know if there'll be any vets at any other positions along the way. Lord forbid anybody gets hurt. I hope he doesn't get hurt because again, that could be a dope rotation of him and some of these other guys, and it would be sacked by committee, like straight up. And that doesn't mean we can't have like a bomb defense to get in a lot of sacks. It just means it's like Moneyball. I don't know how many people that listen are going to remember that, but Jonah Hill's talking to Brad Pitt and he's like, look, you got these couple of guys you just lost. He's like, or no, excuse me, I think it was maybe two guys they just lost. And he was talking about replacing them with like four or five guys. And he's like, look, these two positions, if you refill them with two different guys who collectively bat this much and, this and that as far as like fielding and lack of errors or whatever. He was like, then it's the same thing. Well, I view that as the same, right? Fowler had success. You could have a guy like a Micah Parsons or a Miles Garrett or whoever who's good, or a TJ Watt who just got a big contract. You could have those guys who are going to get you most of your sacks, or you could have it spread out. And hey, at this point, with the success we had last year, I'm willing to see anything because, like, we did that with kind of really not the best defense at all. And now we're starting to add pieces. Like I said, we're adding vets, we're adding guys who want to be here, we're adding this sort of like adding to this winning culture. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I've talked too much. Mike, tag, you're in.
Yeah, I like the move. Like I said, um, it's it is refreshing to be chasing the Lombardi, young, like entering the season chasing the Lombardi,
Straight
and
up.
people coming here like Wagner signing back, Ertz running it back one more time. Like I know there's been this brouhaha about us having the oldest roster in the league right now, but I really like the mix of youth with the veteran leadership because for a Bobby Wagner, you have a Mikey Sanders still. For a Zach Ertz, you have Ben Sinnott. For Von Miller, you have Jaden Daniels. So, like I said, like it kind of bounces back and forth. Even in the veteran leadership a little bit. For Terry McLaurin, you got Marshawn Lattimore. For Andrew Wiley, you got Deron Payne. For Johnny Newton, Josh Connerly Jr. So, like I said, it bounces back and forth. The veteran leadership with the youth infusion is cool. And like I said, I am excited for the future, excited for what's to come next year. You go ahead, bro, with the next topic. Go ahead and introduce it. The top 25 nonsense that CBS came out with. I think you have more info on it than I do.
Yeah, so I think it's somewhat the world we live in, but maybe, no one can be everywhere all at once. But and I don't know how much we talked about this, but if you remember correctly, there was a top, what was that, like a top 25 NBA list that came out, and Kobe was 11, and people have been losing their minds about that one. So I almost feel like this is one of those things like, hey, NFL is still king. So I'm just going to throw it out there. I'll read the names quickly. I'll be honest. I have majority info on everybody on here as far as knowing who they are, etc. Ooh, excuse me. But there's a few that I'm going to try to look up as I kind of turn it over to you real quick. But I'm going to read the names first, okay? And then I'm going to throw a little bit out there. We'll do like Pong. Those of you who are super old school. It's sort of like a ping pong tennis game, back and forth, back and forth. So anyway, here's the list. Number 1, Tom Brady. Again, this is the CBS top 25 players in NFL history, right? And I understand why Tom Brady's where he is, but there's a team sport, and I feel like we talked about it a long time ago, the Brady effect. Anyway, which is a credit to him too at the same time, as equally as I think it's like sort of a knock. So we got Tom Brady number 1, Jerry Rice number 2. I understand that. Jim Brown number 3, Walter Payton number 4, Joe Montana number 5, Peyton Manning number 6. I was a little surprised, not because I have a problem with it, but I know a lot of people, like with his playoff performance, etc., kind of like knocking him somewhat. But to me, I think he sort of tied with Brady as far as greatest QB ever, just doesn't have the Super Bowls, but like in terms of playing the position, etc. Anyway, let me keep going. So we had Peyton Manning number 6. I'm going to stop saying the number, and I'm just going to read them. That's their number. Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, Barry Sanders, Dan Marino, Patrick Mahomes at number 11. Early in his career, but like, hey, you get it. Dick Butkus, Johnny Unitas, Ray Lewis, Aaron Donald, Joe Green, Randy Moss, John Elway, Emmitt Smith, Anthony Munoz. Those of you who don't know, Anthony Munoz was a offensive lineman for the Cincinnati Bengals. They were pretty damn good during the time he was there, with running back Ickey Woods, quarterback Boomer Esiason. I cannot name the receivers, but they had several good receivers. They at least...
I can't believe you. You cannot name the receivers? You can't name one, bro?
For the Bengals?
Yeah.
No, can you?
Collinsworth.
I thought he was a DB.
Nah, Chris Collinsworth was a receiver.
Okay, I was under the impression he was a DB.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you also said that like we know him for broadcasting.
Really? I ain't gonna lie. I knew Collinsworth was a receiver.
I knew he was a former player, but Mike, let's be honest.
Oh,
it ain't. Listen, it ain't like we did. Can you tell me his stats? How many catches he had that year? Did he have a catch in the Super Bowl at all?
Yeah, he was a good receiver in the 80s.
Okay, we're gonna look into that. And if I put my foot in my mouth, then I did. But we're gonna see. Here's a guy. Here's a guy. Anyway, I believe I said Anthony Munoz is where I finished. Alan Page. Alan Page, for those of you who don't know, Purple People Eater. I'm going to look into this, and I meant to do this before the show started. Shame on me. But if I'm not mistaken, Alan Page went into either political or civil work. I know he was an educated man.
Mm,
Every time I saw him doing an interview, he was very well dressed.
okay.
But anyway, I believe he was one of those pioneers from I played well standpoint, but I also got educated, and he maybe sort of helped with the players union and just sort of the overall representation of players, not just being like paid barbarians, even though to a degree that's still what they are. No disrespect, but it's like, hey, guys that big and you want them running into each other, like, I don't know, what do you want them to be? Like, no, it can be scholars. No disrespect. Rod Woodson at number 22. Like, y'all youngins, you just don't get it. Dude was a nasty cornerback for a long time. Also, good punt and kick returner. I believe for a time, very obscure record, but of fumble and interception returns, he had the most yards. Meaning, there's a lot of times it was like a 99-yard pick six or something like that. He had the most return yards. Finished his career with the Baltimore Ravens, winning a Super Bowl. Played most of his career with Pittsburgh, where he was definitely in the playoffs, but I am almost certain he did not win a Super Bowl until he went to Baltimore. Gale
Correct.
Sayers. Gale Sayers, one of my dad's favorite football players. Dude was nice. Any of you who are at a certain age, you will remember Brian's song about Brian Piccolo, former teammate of Gale Sayers, excuse me.
The green dude.
Say what now?
Like, nah, I'm joking. You said Brian Piccolo, and I said the green dude.
No,
That's
not even.
that's a Dragon Ball Z joke.
Yep, I get it. There's actually a movie called Brian's Song, I believe starring James Caan playing Brian Piccolo. Yeah. So anyway, Gale Sayers, extremely, extremely talented football player, Hall of Famer for sure. Tony Gonzalez, and then Don Hudson to finish up. If I'm not mistaken, Don Hudson, I think, played for the Jets with Joe Namath in that Super Bowl championship team. I'm not positive. If he didn't play for them, then, and I know this is going to sound weird because they beat the Colts in the Super Bowl, but then he played for the Colts with Johnny Unitas. It was one of the two. I do apologize for not being prepared, but good conversation topic for our listeners. Mike, the big deal that most people seem to have with this list is Deion Sanders was not on it. I'm kind of picking my brain trying to think of others who maybe should be on it. You can make some arguments here and there, like from a statistical standpoint. I noticed there's not a lot of tight ends on here. Obviously Tony Gonzalez is there. You can maybe argue that a Antonio Gates, perhaps Rob Gronkowski, one of the two, from the tight end position.
I mean, bro,
Derek Thomas. Derek Thomas isn't on the list. There is a lack of linebacker representation too. It would seem like. I mean, you got Ray Lewis, but and Butkus as well. But
the list is trash. Like, let's just the list is trash, bro.
What's the boy on the internet? Trash.
Like, it's a hipster list. Like, it's a.
I don't totally
disagree. Like, don't get me wrong, putting Munoz on there is cool and all, but over Walter Jones, over Jonathan Ogden, over Trent Williams, no, absolutely not. You're not going to sit here and tell me that 80s lineman is better than a lineman from the 2000s or 90s. based off physicality. I mean, based off athletic skills alone, let alone their actual techniques and things like that. Um, if you're going to put all those people on the list, why not put Sammy Ball on the list? Like, why not put Otis Thorpe on the list, or um, what's the Bama name from Otis Graham? I'm sorry, I said Otis Thorpe. Why not put Otis Graham on the list? Like,
Autogram.
it's a hipster list. Yeah, Otto Graham. I'm sorry. It's a hipster list. CBS, like you said in the beginning, they were bored. They were trying to capitalize off of what the NBA just did with their list, which I feel like was a much more accurate list than this list. Like, people, Wayne, like, do you got anything else to say about the NFL list? Because I don't want to like just
No.
go on to a new topic or whatever. Um, People were complaining that Kobe was 11 on the list. I was like, y'all lucky that he was 11th.
Yeah, that's a different argument. But I mean, not that I don't agree. I mean, it's yeah, definitely. I just thought it was interesting because I saw it and I was like, yeah, the Dion thing that makes sense. Then I was looking like not a lot of linebackers. I mean, Derek Thomas not on the list. Um,
I'm surprised Lawrence
then
Taylor was on
equally
that
like
list.
with the running backs, like Walter Payton, I think Emmett Smith are on the list, but yeah, I think that's. Hold, let me double check. Oh,
Don't get no
Barry's there, and he should be, and Jim Brown. But
Barry on there.
this looks definitely like somebody who's much older, and I feel like the word that's kind of missing from here, and even still, guys like Dion and Derek Thomas still belong on that list. But I feel like it's sort of like an impact kind of thing because you know Brady's
Uh,
got the most rings, Jim Brown playing the era during he played, you know Munoz being gay player and like as good as he is, and I don't mean to indicate that
Munoz was
gay
gay.
can't play that good, but huh?
Munoz was gay.
Yeah, he came out of the closet.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Not that it
And then
matters
you
or
look at
anything. I
Barry,
really
Emmett,
just
Walter
wondered.
Payton as being like three of like statistically the best running backs. So I get a lot of people being on this list, but I equally feel like this was like an impact thing. Like, you know, not just statistics, but just kind of
Was Ed Reed on there?
Ed Reed is not on here.
Throw the whole list in the trash.
Yeah.
Throw
Yeah.
the entire list in the daggone trash.
Yep.
Like throw my play skills in the trash in college football 26. I just can't stop throwing interceptions, bro. If y'all see me like not looking at the camera and stuff like that, it's not because I'm not paying attention. I asked it for no, I foolishly, let's say that. I foolishly started a dynasty game in college football 26, and I got to make sure I finish it now because I just don't want no controversy and be like, oh, you played it more than once. Well,
Hey,
I
so Mike,
started it.
I
Whatever.
mentioned a few players. Is there? I mean, and you did just say Ed Reed, but is there
Yeah,
anybody else?
Ed Reed. Um, I'm pretty sure Reggie White on there. I think I heard you say his name. Lawrence Taylor, I know he's on there. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Reggie White and Lawrence Taylor are actually 7 and 8. It's funny you mentioned him. I would maybe throw Darrell Revis, even though he's maybe a little bit newer name.
now hold on. If we put in Reeves, because no, if we
I
put in
mentioned
Reeves on
Dion
there,
first.
I know you said Dion, but there's a bunch of cornerbacks we got to talk about before we start talking about Reeves.
Who?
Champ,
Eh,
Daryl Green, Woodson,
which
Charles
one? Charles
Woodson.
Woodson? Darrell
Yes,
Revis is better than Charles Woodson. I
he
believe
might
that
be a
wholeheartedly.
corner than Charles Woodson, but was he a better football player than Charles Woodson?
Okay, that might be a fairer argument. Fairer. Um, Champ.
He definitely didn't play as long as Charles Woodson did.
No,
Oh
but
wow, it's raining like crazy outside.
yeah, but dude bounced around and was pretty damn successful everywhere he went.
Who, Reeves?
Yeah.
It's only because he had that Super Bowl with the Patriots. That's it. And people don't even talk about that season like that.
Did nobody throw his way?
And that's what I wanted to bring up about Dion too. If somebody was like, "Well, he didn't do this and he didn't do that," I would have been like, "They didn't throw the ball this way a lot." The
If
same with
you look
Darrell
at early
Green.
on the way the Jets used him, I mean, he was getting, cornerback blitz sacks. I mean,
Who,
he was getting
Reeves?
some pick sixes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Rex
not going to
was
sit here and
all
say
over the
that
place.
his peak might have been higher than Darrell Green's. I'll give you that. But it's a fraction of Darrell Green's consistent play or Charles Woodson's consistent play. And don't even get me started on Champ Bailey. Like, Champ is better. Like, I think his peak was just as higher, and it lasted longer.
Yep.
Like,
Well,
Champ, give me
I
Champ
don't know.
over Reeves.
I threw a name out there. It's no disrespect to Darrell Green or Champ Bailey. I think Darrell Revis is certainly in that conversation. I was just throwing a name out there. I did mention also the lack of tight end representation, but I mean,
I ain't
hey,
tripping about
I thought this was interesting from the standpoint of the players that were left off, and then the fact that it kind of almost seemed like, oh, well, the NBA is putting out a list and this publication's putting out a list. Here's our list. So
That's what it
I equally
definitely
kind of
felt
wanted
like.
to touch on that real quick too, just throwing it out there.
That's definitely what it felt like.
I mean, hey, competition and whatever relevance, it's a thing. Those are
Mm.
things. They exist.
So, what's this substitution rule, my brother?
So, hey, look, as it has been mentioned, we are a diversified show. I don't know how many of you guys watch soccer, but there are times late in the game where the team that is winning 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, what have you, and it is a stoppage and play, free kick, throw in, whatever you want, and the team with the ball decides to sub. And then the person that subs proceeds to walk slow. I got to high five this guy. Oh, this is my guy. I got to hug this guy. Oh, what's that? I have the captain's armband on. Hold on a second. Let me take this off and scan the field, deeming who's worthy. I got to put the armband on them because I am now anointing them to replace me. Okay, because I am a big deal. And then here I go. I'm going off the field. Let me do a secret super handshake with this guy. High five, double fist tap, finger point. Yeah. And now I'm off the field. Now, hey, look, it's the equivalent to running the ball in football. It's the equivalent to what did UNC call it? Four corners or whatever. Basketball, you move the ball around and whatever. The difference is also, let's throw in Major League Baseball as well. The difference is the NBA has a shot clock. Major League Baseball has a pitch clock. The NFL not only has a play clock, but you have 4 downs to advance the ball. In soccer, and I'm here to tell you, if you really watch, let's say you kick the ball towards the goal and the goalie catches it standing up, 90% of the time they will catch it standing up and then still fall down slowly and gingerly on top of the ball. Not to where it'll knock the wind out of them or hurt them, but to where they're now on the ground and they got to get back up and they will waste time. This new MLS rule that they're instituting states that when there's a sub, if you are, let me make sure I'm reading here. If you are, daggone it, I clicked on the wrong thing. I do apologize so much to everybody. You have 10 seconds to get off the field. And so if you don't get off the field in 10, I wanted to make sure it was 10 seconds. I thought it was a little more. If you have 10 seconds to if you don't get off the field in 10 seconds, the guy coming on for you, or girl, I don't know if they're going to do this in the ladies' league as well, the person coming on for you will have to wait a whole minute to come on, and the other
Wow.
team will have a 11 on 10 advantage. Now, it's only a minute, but I love it. I love it. Major League Baseball, in my opinion, a buddy of mine who's not a big baseball fan texted me, was like, hey, this new pitch clock rule is actually pretty awesome. And I agree. You want action. Now, hey, look, I get it. You were to look at the Fitbit or whatever it is these people wear when they play soccer, they're running miles at a time. Hey, that's the job you chose. And I get it, you're trying to make it big, but the way professional athletes have it these days, majority of you, it's not a big deal. So I love it because it's similar to, same way the NFL is kind of pushed towards more passing. You're trying to appease the fans. You want more action. You don't want a team to just stall. I would say honestly, if you really know sports, soccer and wrestling are, I guess you might be able to throw boxing and MMA in there as well a little bit.
I was about to say, be careful. So,
Yeah, but stalling and just milking the clock, those are things that are really only prominent in the sports I just listed. As I mentioned, the NBA has a shot clock. You got to get it over half court by a certain time. There's a number of things like that that are more or less set in place to push action and entertainment and intensity. But when I look at this, it'd be great if it was adapted across soccer, but it'll be interesting to see. I like the idea of it. I like the spirit of the rule because I'm here to tell you, man. We're
that's
talking
supposed to be
like
a pun or something.
I bent down because I had to scratch my leg, and then somehow my shoe came untied. I gotta tie my shoe up now. And look, hey, when it's your team winning, like, yeah, you're like, oh, dude, his shoe came untied. Like, oh, bro, let him tie his shoe. You know what I mean? It's no different. Like, well, it is different, and I did that on purpose. But let's say in the NFL, it's like, hey, it's 2nd and 4, and they're milking the clock. Like, hey, they're about to try to run it again, or at least try to somehow get across that line. If you can stop them, there's your chance. But they also equally have a certain amount of time they're going to have to hike the ball and try for something. Otherwise, they waste a timeout. In soccer, those kind of things don't really exist. There's not timeouts. There are substitutions, as I mentioned, and that's the essence of this to begin with. Or not the essence, but like the reason for why we're discussing it. But I think it's great. All you're doing is telling people, hey, all them little tactics y'all do, like it's bad enough there's all this diving going on, which sucks, but I do understand it at least. So I'm with it. I don't know if you have any feelings on the matter, just from a pure like, hey, I enjoy sports and competition, and this is how I feel about that. But
No, I think the rule is fair. Like, there's really nothing else for me to add, bro.
well, this is
Maybe
a new thing
FIFA start
that
update. I
they're
mean,
trying out.
maybe FIFA will adopt it. I say update it. Maybe FIFA will adopt it one day or whatever. But Young, we gotta retract something. Anthony Munoz is not gay. That man is married. His wife's name is either Didi or Dede. I don't know, but that
You
man is not
sure?
married. I'm positive because I was looking for pictures for our little screen grab or whatever, and the first thing that came up was Anthony Munoz's wife. And I was like, "Huh? This man said he was gay." But I just wanted to let you know, like, I don't think cuz so you will keep telling people this.
Stop playing.
I'm sorry, yo.
I feel so terrible. I swear to God, like I genuinely do. I swear to God, I would never have said that.
Oh my
Eesh.
goodness. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're welcome to laugh at me. I feel foolish. Like, what the hell?
Anyway, um, it was a good show. It was a good show. I really had fun talking about all the topics, young. Um, from Terry McLaurin, hold out. Um, basically, it's basically Terry's legacy versus future flexibility. Like, do we want to keep him here and have his money, his contract sold up for the next 3 years, or have future flexibility with the roster? Um, Von Miller, it's not a luxury or a necessity. It's something that we just needed. I guess you could say it's a necessity, but I don't think it's something we wanted, but it's not a luxury. Let's just say that. Like I said, CBS trash list, um, and that rule, like the rule, should be a good rule. I think I don't think it'll necessarily make me want to start watching MLS more than I am right now. But at the end of the day, like I'm all for the better of the game. I'm a traditionalist in a way where I want to keep things simple and not like add too much nonsense to stuff. But if a rule is a smart rule, then like let's do it. If people are milking the clock on a 90-minute strict clock, like we add time for injuries and stoppage of play or whatever, but we don't add time for you getting off the field. You got 10 seconds. That's plenty of time. If you're not injured, get your butt off the field, man, and let's go.
Yep.
And
Totally agree.
I feel like 60 seconds is definitely a valid penalty. In hockey, they have to play with a man advantage for 2 minutes, 3 minutes sometimes. So yeah, if your teammate wants to hot dog around for more than 10 seconds and not get off the field, the team gets punished for 60 minutes. I mean, for 60 seconds, and
Yep.
that'll make you get off the field more, so we can get this game going, so we can get out of here in 90 minutes and not 94 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, before we end this, I thought of this halfway through the show, and it's a little reflective, like at least as far as timing goes. There are topics that we'd like to talk about, because sometimes our shows have like a decent amount of time between them, such as LeBron talking about ring culture, etc. Um, but one thing that I think when we started to talk about doing the show today, and then it happening and whatever. Big shout out to Art Monk. Number being retired. I think it's extremely long overdue. Um, I think we did talk a little bit about this before. It's just us trying to bridge the gap between the old and the new. And I think we talked about that more so with the jerseys that Art Monk or jersey, excuse me, that Art Monk, the style that he wore during the 91 Super Bowl championship run. So, it's definitely awesome. The video is so cool because you have Gary Clark, and then I'm trying to think of the other pro that was there. There's another pro that went with him, but it was just a gaggle of people, like a whole bunch. And they greeted him, and I almost feel like he wanted to curse, but maybe saw the cameras and like, what the? They let everybody in, and they kind of let them know, like, hey, you're getting your jersey retired, and it's like, yeah, like do was the truth. Put up numbers during an era where like
He retired as the all-time leading receiver.
Absolutely, and
and still took like 15 years to get in the Hall of Fame. Just absolutely ridiculous, but I digress.
yeah, yeah. Well, and just to add on to that, like you think about the era, like we're known as the Hogs, the O line, guys like Riggins and Ernest Biner. You know what I mean? What was my man's name? Timmy Smith, I think it was, that has the Super Bowl record for
Yeah, the
rushing
running
yards.
back.
Yep, I believe I have that correct. So anyway,
Hmm.
all that's a reflection of the fact that like this was a running team. This was, hey, let's control the clock, let's play good defense, let's just punch people right in the face, right in the mouth. And then here this is, here, here this is. Here's this guy that is putting up all these numbers as a receiver, and then even more so, like, hey, you don't even know who he is because he rarely ever talks. Like he played for the Jets for a time, but dude was quiet. He's a pro's pro.
Cardinals too, I think.
Oh, you might be right. I just remember when he left the team to go play for the Jets, and it was like, But well, I mean, I was a kid, and I just kind of went with like whatever, like my dad, my uncle, and other family members said and felt. But yeah,
No, that's what's up. Definitely big props to him. And that ceremony will be the week 9 game. I think it's week 9. If it's not week 9, maybe I'm getting confused with November 9th. But either way, it's the Sunday night football game at Northwest Stadium versus the Seahawks. They will be wearing their throwbacks that night, so should be fun times. Hopefully, we can get a dub that day when we
not
host.
gonna front. That Seahawks throwback's kind of nice. I'd more say the white one, I think, is better than the blue one.
I wonder if they'll do, because the other game, the other Sunday night football game, they'll be wearing the throwback jerseys too versus the Broncos, and I wonder if the NFL will allow both teams to wear their
Why not?
throwback versus Washington. You know how weird the NFL is with
Well, the Seahawks would
uniform
have to wear
rules.
the blue ones, and then I'm guessing the Broncos are wearing the orange.
Yeah, but you know how they are with rules like that. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people will welcome that, and
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna welcome an exit of to this week's show. We're about to bounce up out of here. Next week is going to be a big show. Training camp getting started. We'll probably start our division previews next week as well. Wink, wink, Eddie. Um, we'll be probably starting our division previews next week and talking about Commanders training camp.
Maybe
Should
even
be a.
some fantasy football. You never know.
Oh, I don't listen. I'm in too many leagues. There's too many ears and eyes around.
I was
I
just
don't
going to
know.
bring up a certain member in the league you and I are both in. I know he's listening to what we're talking about.
I'm drafting Jaden Blue with my first pick.
Jaden Blue?
See, you don't even know who that is.
I don't know
You
who
got
Jaden Blue is. No.
you got some catching up to do, bro. You got some catching up to do, bro. It's like, nah, I'm joking. But peace out, y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all, man.
Take it easy.